पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। शांति शांति शांति। We were seeing in the morning that the Vedas are the fundamental Shastra of Hindu Dharma, and Vedas are on those topics which cannot be known by the senses and mind. There are two topics which cannot be known by senses and mind. One is about the dharma dharma, and second is about the jnana of the self. And therefore, Vedas deal with two topics, and actually it pervades all your life. How to eat, how to sleep, how to walk, what is the rule. The Smriti Granthas and Puranas, 18 Puranas, are the expansion of the Vedic principles only. Upbranam. So they are the expansion of the Vedic principles only through various characters. And therefore, we should have importance of Vedas in our mind. So that is what is called as Pramana. This is to be done, this is not to be done. This way it will save us from falling in our life. Falling means a person has made such thoughts in his mind which give him sorrow, but he can't leave it. Mental falling is the frequent habit of forgetting the God. Frequent habit of forgetting the truth for something very small. For some small thing, I forget the big God. That is called falling off a person. Okay. Falling, supposing you say, that is called compromise. So Vedas are giving the injunction to protect us from our fall. Now when this topic of Vedas you heard in the morning, then we had also seen the Purmimamsa portion, which extension of which is Arya Samaj, etc. So Purmimamsa had one point. What did they say? They say Vedas are only praman for actions. Please understand, life of action is very respected in the Vedas also. But to see as a goal is a fallacy. Actually, life of selfish action should culminate in life of selfless dedicated action. Life of selfless dedicated action should culminate in life of devotion. And life of devotion should culminate in life of knowledge. And life of knowledge should culminate in life of meditation and sannyas. Do you see the hierarchy? Selfish action to dedicated action to life of devotion to life of Vedanta Shravan, and ultimately life of sannyas and meditation. So action is very good purifier if it is dedicated, but to keep on acting for lifelong is sign of not done the karma yoga properly. When karma yoga and upasana is lesser in a person, there is less thirst of going to solitude. Nivritti is the sign of progression of a spiritual person. He wants to give exclusive attention, and therefore he wants the actionlessness. Because action involves him very tremendously. Action is a big involver. So I want to reduce my port. Port? What is port? Possession, obsession, relation and transaction. Reducing port is called going to life of actionlessness. Possession, obsession, relation and transaction. So this kind of lifestyle is prescribed in the Vedas. You know what is written there in Vedas? Yad aharev virahet virajet. Pura karo. Tad aharev pravrajet. When you are very dispassionate, that moment only you should go for some seclusion. So to say that life of action only is the glorious life, or to say life of seclusion is a glorious life, both are under a statement, because it depends who is the adhikari for that, who is the qualified student for that. But there should come a time in everybody's life, in some birth, if not in this birth, where he is at least a mental sannyasi, or he has given up the life of active actions. And he goes into exclusive system where he doesn't have to talk too much, doesn't have to cook too much, doesn't have to watch TV, doesn't have to answer many people. And lot of his time goes in churning what he has heard. You know what is the meaning of meditation? What teacher told, a person goes back in his room and without any aid he repeats it in his mind. That is contemplation. He repeats it. And therefore this kind of life was mentioned in our scriptures. Purmimansa had an objection. And those who are very, very active people you understand, whose karta is very strong, suppose. Kartritva is very strong. Everybody should work. Why they should not work? Why they should not work? Why these people are sitting quietly? They don't understand, nobody is sitting quietly. They are in their own sadhana, they are thinking about something bigger. And sometimes they say, those who leave everything, they are selfish people. Doing sadhana is being selfish. And doing some social project is more selfless. These things you will hear, or you must have heard. Selfishness is working for a small self, which is caring for his body. selflessness is working for a big self. Either it is Virat or it is the self, which is beyond Virat and Ishwar also. Got my point? And one who is, supposing he is in, because actions are very more shown. One who is active and you can show I did this. So people are impressed. People are very happy, see he did so many actions. But one who is quietly in meditation, because he doesn't show something external, though his people will not be thinking of his attention. And therefore it is felt like that. But those who are thinking about the self, or those who are thinking about Lord, they are identified with the whole Lord. And tirthi kurvanti tirthani, because of them, tirth becomes a tirth. Because of them, quietness is around them. At one place, Shankaracharya Bhagavan says, Vasundhara punyavatim chatena. By this kind of people, earth gets merit. So subtler level contribution is difficult to recognize than grosser level contribution. Are you getting my point? Subtler level contribution at the level of thought is difficult than the contribution at the level of object. Supposing I give lot of wealth and money and feed 100 people every day, I will be more noticeable. But supposing I contribute at a level of thought, I give a very good thought, whichever Gurudev did, this will not be that much noticed because people are very gross-minded. But the thought level contribution has depth and life. Vivekananda's contribution was thought level contribution. So these people are more deeper and subtler. And another contribution can be that the person is meditating and he is contributing in the form of that Virat or oneness of the self is expressed. Nityanand Swamiji was there, Ganesh Puri Swamiji, Nityanand Swamiji. He used to sit down whole day. Avadhut he was, Avadhut Koti Mahatma. He was first in Karnataka side. Then he came to Bombay. So lie down. By their darshan only they quieten the mind. They are Ishwar Swarup. And after so many years also their name, when Gurudev left his body, so Guruji came and Guruji said very good line. He said, until now you had seen the glory of Gurudev's work. Now you will see the glory of Gurudev's name. So their name is like that. So ordinary person is baffled why they are sitting quietly. He thinks that they are idle. They are in tamoguna. But he is not in tamoguna. He is one with the consciousness. It may appear like they are settled idle. Of course, action has its own glory. I am not saying action, I am not belittling action. And there it was mentioned, Purmimansa said, no, that portion is not praman, this portion alone is praman. ठीक है बोले चुपचाप बैठे हैं कुछ कर नहीं रहे वो कुछ कर नहीं रहे the contribution of the literary person, the contribution of a scientist is a thought level contribution. The contribution of a poet is a thought level contribution. He gave a very big thought. Now I'll come back. Now, so this is not a pramana because They say, if you remember my morning thing, so don't get carried away by that. When people hear all these worldly things, we may get carried away. अरे क्या है वो सब छोड़ के. One tyagi, if you see, you can feel, अरे without anything he can be so happy. Tapan Maharaj's cottage in Uttarkashi is there. No bathroom is also there. He passed whole life in that particular small cottage. They didn't allow any building to come up while he was living. Walking to Yamunotri on foot. Twice he went to Kailash walking. When you hear, you felt how much dispassion must be there, how much Sharanagati should be there, how much peace must be there, how much samadhi must be he may be having. If he was not there, Gurudev wouldn't have come out then. So we become very judgmental very quickly. We are very good in passing judgment about those cases which we don't know also. So here the Purvamimamsa, if you remember, they had an objection. Remember, we are going into Pranopasana portion of the third Brahman. And in that third Brahman, this is called one bhashya about Ved Pramanyam is given. Just listen all these things. Every day you will see some new vistas are opening. Even if you don't understand, keep on listening. One day you'll understand. So Purvamimamsa always says, please do this. Agni Hotram Kuryat. Every day do Agnihotra, every day do that. They say other portion is Arthavad, and what is valid is called Pramana, and what is not valid is Apramana. Because they use one word, Amnayarthasya Kriyarthatvat. Everything is only, injunction is only for action. So, all ritual are Pramana, but other things are not Pramana. And to prove that, Pramana, you understand, no, what should be taken as a proof? Other things should not be taken as a proof. So, acha. And now to tell that point, they said some small things. I will seek your attention. If you can get it, it is good. If you don't get it, then also don't worry. Maybe some of you can get. Brihadaranyaka expects that we have a background of Upanishad listening. This Upanishad is taught later on. Acha. So, there is something called Pada and there is something called Vakyam. Ram goes to forest. So, this is called Pada, Ram, Vak. One which connects the individual Pada, that is called Vakyam. Okay. Anybody will define in Sanskrit what is Padam? Any Sanskrit person is there? Suptigantam Padam. Sup is called Padam, not soup. Suptigantam. Su, Aujas, etc. is there. Like Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, they are called Pada. Ramaha, Ramau, Rama. And what is Vakya? Connection of those Pad is the Vakya. Is it clear? So, Pad is individual words, and when it is well connected, it is called sentence or Vakya. So, he asks a question, is Pad a Pramana or Vakya a Pramana? Purvamimamsa is asking. You got the point? What is the Pramana? Is the individual words are the Pramana or the sentence is Pramana? क्या बोला जाए? What do you think? Individual words are Pramana or the Vakya is Pramana? So, they are saying individual words are not Pramana because it is just a knowledge of the thing. Watch. Watch is not, it will not make, I know the thing. I say Ram. Ram is not a Pramana. I have to find out what exactly it is. Supposing I say watch. What watch? So it is not making any sense. You say any word only, it doesn't make any sense. It is not making any proof. Achha. So word does not give you any new knowledge. It only brings the old knowledge what you have hidden. Any word is there. I say rope. Rope is rope. I see rope. Okay. Then what is the pramana then? When padas are connected together, then they become pramana. Supposing I say Ram, water, fall. 3 words are there. There are many ways you can connect it. One way is you can say Ram falls on the water. Other you can say water falls in the Ram. So each sentence, how it is, the key holder is the verb that is there in between. That will tell exactly what you have to say. I will use the Sanskrit now. Ramaha graham. Supposing I say 2. So it can be Ramaha graham gacchati. Ram goes to the house. Other is Ramaha grahe nivasati. He lives in the house. So unless you are a connecting thing with the verb, you cannot make a sentence. All this Purvamamsa is saying, very nicely they have said it. So padam is not a vakyam, padam is not pramanam. Vakyam is pramanam. Have you got it so fast? Okay. So relationship between the words, it is called syntactical relation. Technical words, syntactical. In Sanskrit, samsarga arthaha. We should hear some classical Vedanta also. Classical Vedanta. Sansarga arthaha. How they are connected together. I say, Ram Mohan lives. Ram Mohan Shyam. Ab you don't know what this mean. Ram Mohan Shyam what? They are talking or living or eating or walking. So then you say Ram, Shyam and Mohan are talking. Then it makes a sense. Or you can say Ram is talking to Mohan and Shyam is listening. So you have to put a verb to put a meaning to that sentence. You don't have a sentence without a verb. ठीक है? Oh. Then, do you agree? Well, of course I agree. I have 100% agreement to that. No problem. So if you don't put a verb, the whole sentence can be twisted in any manner. It can go anywhere. But verb gives a meaning to that sentence. Now Purvamamsa gave one strong point. They said, tell me, every verb you are saying sentence is a pramanam and not padam. Well, yes. And if sentence is a pramanam, it has a verb. Well, yes. Verb indicates action. Hello. Pakda. Verb indicates an action. And therefore, if you are saying that something is a pramanam, it has to be associated with action. They have only work of thinking properly. We are concerned with noon till lakdi also. What food will make? Maid has not come. I kept the milk and the cat drank the milk. So they are not bahirmukhi. They are meditative and withdrawn people. Therefore camp is required. No worry to cook. No worry to go to the office. No children hanky-pankies around. No nagging wife and arrogant husband around. You are free. worst thing is phone. So, because it needs some kind of quiet mind. Well, ठीक है. And therefore, this is their conclusion, still the Vedanta has to come. Their conclusion is therefore, Vedaha karma paraha. All praman will be associated with actions, and therefore the Vedas are associated with the action. Very nice argument they give. One thing you have to understand. ठीक, चले आगे. बोले चलिए आप थोड़ा. I am tempting you to read later on when you have time. Therefore we give the books. Maybe out of somebody may like to read something. There should be taste developed to read the Bhashya. How long will surface swimming will do? Even if you don't understand, just read it. Out of one page you will understand 2-3 lines, never mind. But keep it. Now Bhashyakar gives the answer. And see what answer is there. In this context, he said, you are discussing 3 topics. He said, I accept what you said, that pad is not a praman and vak is a praman. And I also accept vak should have a verb. Yes, will you agree, no? Yes, thank you so much. Only but, what one line you said, that I have objection. Which line? You said every verb is associated with the action, I have a doubt. Well, how you have a doubt? I am giving a statement. Vasumati sapt deepa bhavati. The statements are there. Therefore I see sometimes. This earth has 7 continents. So what is the verb? Well, asti. Asti is Vasumati, Saptodvipa asti or bhavati. Vasumati means earth. You have to learn this Sanskrit ways out. Don't get afraid. Very simple. Vasumati means earth is having 7 continents. Bole verb is there. Bole verb is there. Bole after listening to this, what work you have to do? When you read this and their understanding, क्या है? अब आपको क्या काम करना पड़ेगा? Verb is an action, but certain verbs are not associated with actions. If I say he is reading, so reading is associated with the action. But certain way I said, if I am saying temple is 1 kilometer away from here, there is no action involved after this. This doesn't involve an action. This sentence is not showing any action in it. And therefore, what you said that praman should be always associated with action, I think you have to withdraw your statement, please. I hope you are clear. हाँ? ठीक, इतना ही तो है. It's not that praman has to be associated with the action. He's there. There is no action involved after that. He is there. There is no action involved. Certain things, there is no action involved in the sentence. And therefore, I have to say few things. Acha. So far, this is called arthavad. Arthavad, you understand? Sentence which are not indicating any action. This is called paribhashik shabd. Defined meanings are there. You cannot use some meaning. You cannot use any meaning. Paribhashik shabd means some special meaning is there. You cannot use it loosely. Loose words are not allowed here. So they are very, very miser in using the word. Well, no, you have to say like that. Now, they say, Arthvad should have 2 points. Just hear it. It is coming in my mind. Therefore, you also hear. You will have more stability in your sadhana. Arthvad should not reveal which is already known by other methods. This is called pramanantar samvad should not be there. Arthvad should not reveal something which is known by other method. Anadhigatam it is called. Okay. Scripture should not tell, sugar is sweet. I already know it through other method. Why are you telling it? You don't tell me fire is hot. Praman has a meaning. It is called anadhigatam. Please be very careful. Eyes are praman for the form. Why? Because no other sense organ is praman for the form. You may have guess. Guesswork is not called praman. Only eyes can tell. Supposing somebody is blind, they see that the braille is there. Braille कहते हैं ना? Braille. So they have a dot in that. Through touch they infer. Through touch they infer the word. And Braille is a special arrangement. But they will not know the color exactly. They may see the shape. They may touch something and bole, acha, he is a child. Huh? But they will not say what color shirt he has put on. Because that praman is not there. Every praman should be only for one and not for many. This is one important point about that. This is called pramanantar samvad. What is known, it should not be known by something else. Otherwise you are repeating it. There is no point in repeating something. I don't like repeating. Praman is already there. Therefore what Vedas will tell, other lok cannot tell. And what lok will tell, Vedas are not supposed to tell the same thing, because I already know that. Only I have to tell you one thing. What? You have 2 legs. Arey bhai, that I already know. Or Vedas are not going to tell that, the cow is also white. No, milk is white. Don't tell any such thing. I want to know that Vedas are atindriya vishyaha vedaha pramanam bhavati. That which I can know by senses and mind. Though in anger, a person loses his temper. Loses his sense. I know that. You tell me that which is not known by other praman. This is the first condition. Okay. Achha bhai. Very good. Second point. The praman or the arthvad should not contradict what is already known. This is called pramanantar visamvada. You can't say fire is cold. Because you don't contradict that. Your praman is wrong. You cannot say like that, So 2 things. It should not repeat what has been known, and don't contradict what is known already. So don't contradict what is known by some praman. That is a powerful praman is there. So these are the 2 things about the arthavad. I hope this much is clear. Bole, where you want to, I am coming slowly, I will see where is there. And gudvad is called exaggeration. Third point is there, that which neither rejects nor contradicts. So this is called, neither it repeats, neither it contradicts. This is called arthavad. So arthvad means samvadi visamvad vilakshan vakyam. Samvad visamvad vilakshan vakyam is called pramanam. Neither it repeats, neither it contradicts. Supposing you are eating sweet. So not that some other sense organ had tasted it and found it was bitter and now it has become sweet. ये गड़बड़ बात है. I ate When I saw, I thought it was very sweet. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens that the dish is there, we thought it is kadhi, and roti is there. So I took the vegetable and I thought it is kadhi, sukroti, vegetable and kadhi will go together well. And it was kheer. अब ये धोखा किसने दिया? आइज ये गड़बड़ प्रमाण कर दिया, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट द अथॉरिटी ऑन अदर्स प्रमाण. अबाउट द टेस्ट, हाँ, टेस्ट प्रमाण इज दिस नाउ. सो व्हाट वन प्रमाण इज already said, it should not be contradicted by another praman. That is, it is not valid praman, it is there. I hope this much is. So one is called samvadi, other is called visamvadi. It is in very short, and then either it should repeat, neither it should contradict. Okay, understood that. Understood, very good.